I'm Kat, and welcome to Case Cleanup, the adopted sister of Hot Mess Murder Club that nobody asked for, but here we are. This is where we take a case, clean up the timeline, and cut through the bullshit. And for our very first episode, we went straight to the landfill, because this is Franklin Floyd, and he's a piece of shit. All right, let's get into it. In 1975, Franklin Floyd briefly married a woman named Sandra Savakis. It was a short marriage, barely registers, except Sandra had a 6-year-old daughter. Her name was Suzanne Savakis. When the marriage ended, Franklin left. Suzanne left with him. No custody order, no permission, no confusion. Just a grown-ass man kidnapping a 6-year-old child and walking off like he didn't just ruin an entire fucking life. That's the moment Suzanne Savakis stopped existing as herself. From there, Franklin did what he does best, lie with confidence. Suzanne became Sharon Marshall. Frank told people he was her father, because of course he did. They moved constantly, different states, different schools, different versions of the same bullshit story. Never long enough for adults to compare notes. Sharon was isolated, often homeschooled, which I can't imagine that education, and tightly controlled. She was monitored like property. People later described her as bright, polite, and painfully obedient. The kind of kid who learned early that compliance keeps you alive and resistance gets you hurt. Behind closed doors, Franklin was abusing her for years, on purpose. Not impulsively, not accidental. This wasn't losing control. This was him exercising it, over and over, until fear and compliance were baked into her daily existence. At the same time, he handled her identity the way a shitty con artist handles paperwork. Sloppy, arrogant, and convinced he was untouchable. Names swapped whenever he felt like it, documents slapped together just well enough to pass at a glance. Never meant to hold, just meant to never be questioned. Just enough bullshit to keep him moving and everyone else in the dark. Suzanne disappeared. Sharon Marshall existed, just enough to pass. Until college. Because college paperwork does not give a shit about your lies. Frank? You see, college paperwork expects you to exist like a real human. Sharon Marshall's did not. Her social security number didn't align with her claimed birth date. The issuance timing was wrong. The records didn't match a normal life timeline. It behaved exactly like an identity slapped together by an asshole who assumed no one would actually check. The system couldn't do the one basic thing it exists to do. Confirm that yes, this person has existed continuously in the United States since childhood. Instead, it spit out a half-ass identity held together by audacity and, well, bullshit. Administrators flagged it, authorities were contacted, and Suzanne was questioned. But still, after all that, after the paperwork basically screamed, this person is not real, she was sent right back to Frank. Because apparently that passes for due diligence. Gold star, guys. And now that you understand why he's a piece of shit, let's get into why he's a complete fucking asshole. By 1989, Franklin decided the dad role was inconvenient, so he rebranded again, like a shitty startup. Frank became Clarence Hughes. Suzanne became Tanya Hughes, or sometimes Tanya Tadlock, depending on which lie he needed that day. And now the story shifted. Father became husband. Ugh. They were legally married in New Orleans. Official ceremony, valid paperwork, no one stopping it. No one asking the right questions loudly enough. A man who kidnapped a child, raised her under fake names, abused her for years, is now legally married to her. He's got the same control, but a different label. But he's still the same disgusting asshole. But in 1990, Suzanne died. At the time, she was still known as Tanya Hughes. Franklin, calling himself Clarence, was listed as her husband. Her death raised eyebrows, but not enough to blow anything open. The details were unclear. The details were unclear. The explanations were thin at best. The whole thing smelled like bullshit, but not the kind anyone wanted to dig through. And here's the part that matters. No one knew who Suzanne really was. To law enforcement, Tanya Hughes was just a young woman married to Clarence Hughes. They did not know she'd been kidnapped at 6 years old. They did not know she'd lived under stolen identities. They did not know the man standing next to her had been abusing her since childhood. That is why Franklin was never charged in Suzanne's death. No confirmed legal identity. No body tied to her real name. Suspicion existed, but proof didn't. Suzanne was buried under a name that wasn't hers, while her real mom was still alive, still searching, and still believing her daughter might come home. Franklin walked away again, because bullshit beats accountability. Apparently. And because Franklin Floyd only stops when physically forced to, he kept going. By 1994, he was married again and living with his wife and her 6-year-old son, Michael Hughes. Michael was not Franklin's biological child. He was his stepson, a kid Franklin had access to, authority over, and absolutely no excuse to touch. Franklin kidnapped Michael. Michael was beaten. He was suffocated. This grown fucking man murdered a 6-year-old child. That murder was loud enough that Franklin couldn't Frank his way out of it. There was a body. There was evidence. There was nowhere left to hide. Franklin Floyd was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole. And that's what finally stopped him. Decades later, DNA finally did what paperwork and politeness failed to do. In 2014, an FBI investigation confirmed the truth. Sharon Marshall was Suzanne Savakis. Tanya Hughes was Suzanne Savakis. One child, multiple stolen identities, nearly 40 years erased. Franklin Floyd kidnapped the child, erased her identity, abused her for years, and walked away from her death. Michael Hughes' murder is the crime that finally stopped him. And that's it. That's it for today. Franklin Floyd is still a piece of shit, and honestly, I'm done giving him airtime. But for full-length episodes covering real cases from start to finish, stream Hot Mess Murder Club on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. And yeah, we're on YouTube too, fucking obviously. New episodes drop every Monday, but Case Cleanup doesn't have a set schedule yet. So hit the subscribe button. Go on, do it. You don't want to miss the next one, do you? Don't be a bitch. Hit subscribe. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye. Suspicion existed. Proof didn't. Suzanne was buried. Ow, fuck me. Ow. God damn it, get your claw out of my back. Why would you do that to me? I feed you. Son of a bitch.
Say bye, Kiki.